up to the job.
And Nico Loaiza wants to give him the platform to tell it.
Here it is.
In his own words.
The news about the coronavirus.
Healing process of it.
That's right. The news about the coronavirus.
Anthony's jaw has been wired shut for almost 2 months. It's been a long healing process, but Anthony refuses to stay angry. It's that positive energy that drew Nico to Anthony.
He was just so overwhelmingly positive, and just had such a genuineness about him.
Nico's day job is photography.
The images of the first weekend, some of them, still haunt me.
He was inspired to document the Black Lives Matter protests in the city he grew up in, and part of his passion for racial justice was passed down from his late father, who also had a story to tell.
He was Pedro Negro, so he came to Peru when he was 17, 18 years old for the education, but he was one of those people, he wasn't necessarily biracial, but in Latin American culture, if you are a black Latin, it's you're not black enough.
Shortly after moving to Texas, Nico's parents met in Austin Silver Park, and they bought a house nearby.
And he told me before, when cops would come to the house and stuff like that, they wouldn't believe that he was a property owner. My dad always made such a point to talk about how the opportunity in America is unparalleled. That's the reason why people come here. But at the same time, he was do not get it twisted. This place still thrives in racist ways.
While his dad isn't here to stand in solidarity with those fighting against police brutality, Nico is thankful for the stories he shared and the countless stories still being shared today.
For my dad now, I think that he would be very, very proud.
For Spectrum News, I'm Leanne Wallace.
So ahead, we'll have the latest headlines and an updated check of your Weather on the One forecast. But first, over the past 2 months, we've heard from dozens of Ohioans as to why they are using their voice to create change. This week, we relive some of those voices, including today, where we hear from the Ohio State Student Body President. Here's what she and other students say they're pushing for at Ohio's largest university.
My name is Raia Hijazi. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a rising 4th year at Ohio State, and I was recently elected as student body president. I felt that my identity and the things that I was passionate about didn't really have a space in student government. So one of my biggest motivations for running for student body president was to elevate the needs and the passions and the issues that surround marginalized students on our campus and support them in creating change through the avenues that are available to us at Ohio State. So growing up as a Muslim student, oftentimes I would have to celebrate holidays or fast religious observations during school, and it's hard to receive accommodations for something that's not recognized on the academic calendar. So what we're able to do is advocate for testing centers to stay open after sundown for students who are fasting during the month of Ramadan. So just thinking about how I'm able to pull my own personal experiences into the institutional level that can ultimately support all different students. So as a Black Muslim woman walking into a lot of these meetings and trying to advocate for these experiences, sometimes it is seen as you're coming from an emotional place or a very personal place. And it's really easy to get things like that pushed under the rug. But I do think that there's a lot of power in personal experiences and emotional experiences, because that is what's affecting people on the ground. So there's no reason for me not to bring that into a policy and decision-making level. It's not our job to speak on behalf of people or advocate on behalf of them, but it's our job to give them the tools so that they feel empowered to do so for themselves.
What if you had to choose between fixing your roof or buying food? Help us make emergency repairs for our neighbors. Text rebuild to 484848.
Is my passion. I started out as an actress and singer, which isn't the typical way to get into broadcasting. Whether it's journalism, singing, acting, writing, it's all about storytelling. I guess I fell in love with news because it's the real story of us. It's the real story of community. I'm Marilee Melendez, anchor reporter, Spectrum News 1.
Weather in Ohio is changing all the time.
We get winter one day and 60s the next.
At Spectrum News 1, our goal is refreshingly simple.
We bring you an accurate, reliable, and local forecast every 10 minutes.
We have an incredible, experienced team of people.
We don't just know about the weather, we know about Ohio.
You never have to wait for your forecast with your Weather on the One.
Weather on the One, every 10 minutes, exclusively on Spectrum.
Voting is a lot more than just casting your ballot. That is the most powerful tool you have in our democracy. Every vote does count. It is your chance to make sure that your voice is being heard. Here at Spectrum News 1, you're getting the information that you need. You're hearing from the policymakers so that you can make the decision. The real impact is right there in your local community where you live. Decision 2020 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
We know changes are happening. We know there's more to be done. Now, as our community rebuilds, we'll continue to support each other, caring for neighbors and family today, so we can all be together tomorrow. We know none of this has been easy. Thank you, Ohio. We're proud to tell your stories every day. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Whenever Charlie felt different, he remembered what his mother taught him. Different isn't weird, sad, bad, or strange. Different is different, and different is okay.
Welcome back. You're watching Spectrum News 1, Ohio's only 24-hour statewide news channel. I'm Lindsay Oliver. Taking pride in Ohioans, an author is spreading positive messages about having a disability, how she is inspiring parents to embrace their children's gifts in today's Ohio Story. We'll have that story coming up in just a few minutes, but first, let's get a quick check of your Weather on the One forecast.
Over the last few hours, we've seen numerous showers and thunderstorms developing. This line will continue to drift a little bit farther to the south and east. That's where we're going to see our best rainfall coverages as we get through the remainder of the afternoon and into this evening. So a line from about I-71 and then points south and east. That's where we're going to see our rain chances focus through much of the afternoon, but heading into the evening as well, seeing more pockets of that rain getting going into northwestern Ohio. So nobody should be putting the umbrellas away just yet up until around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. There's at least an isolated chance of seeing a couple of showers or even a stray thunderstorm in the forecast. Then we can't rule out some early morning showers right along Lake Erie for Tuesday. We'll really start to see more activity getting going closer to midday, though, and then from there we'll start to see rain chances tapering off for a little while, actually starting late in the day tomorrow. By Tuesday evening, we'll start to see some drier and more comfortable air coming back into the picture. Temperatures tomorrow still in the 70s and 80s, but we will see some 90s returning for the weekend. More details coming up in just a few minutes.
Almost 1 year ago, 9 innocent lives were lost during a tragic shooting in Dayton's Oregon District. Now one of the victim's sons is looking to move forward. Deon Green was there the night his father, Derek Fudge, lost his life. Every day he battles with the pain he endured from that tragic night. But therapy, support, and sharing his story has helped him move forward. This year he published a book called Untitled, Act of God, Act of Man. He also created the Fudge Foundation, which stands for Flourishing Under Distress, Giving Encouragement. Through his nonprofit, he hopes to help others like him heal.
I know what it is, getting in that dark tunnel, and if there's nobody there to support or help you out, you can be lost to suicide, to addiction, and to many other illnesses that can occur from depression. I've been there, so I'm going to hold other people's hands and help them get through it too, so we can all shine together.
To learn more about his book and the Fudge Foundation, you can visit DeonGreen.com. With the stress of the pandemic, some are looking for a mini getaway to relax, but still stay safe. The Lodge at Geneva on the Lake is a way you can escape reality while staying in Ohio. The Lodge has reopened and resumed their wine tours. Tours include stops at 3 to 4 wineries, and they've been updated to accommodate COVID-19. Shuttles operate at a capacity of 8 guests instead of 14 and undergo a sanitation and cleaning process in between each stop. You can also rent golf carts, swim in the inside or outdoor pools, and you can explore the outside beauty.
We have one of the most fantastic views, I would say, on Lake Erie. So even if all you're doing is just staying here, enjoying the pool and the lake itself, I mean, the wineries are a bonus, I think.
And we can relax and enjoy nature, the vineyard, and feel safe, which is very important because right now so many people don't.
For more information on how to visit Geneva on the Lake, go to SpectrumNews1.com and click on the story. Infertility is an issue many people experience. One Cincinnati couple is sharing their story in hopes of helping others. Carrie and Chris Stewart say they had difficulty getting pregnant. After looking at all the options, the couple learned about embryo adoption. It's a process where an embryo from another couple's IVF cycle is used to get pregnant. The couple says they either wanted a child that was entirely theirs genetically or neither of theirs, which is why embryo adoption worked for them. They now have 2-year-old Miles and another baby on the way. They say sharing their journey brings hope to other couples that may be experiencing similar struggles.
You will feel joy again. That was my biggest concern through all of this, is I felt so sad, and I felt like I would never experience true happiness in what our family looks like, and it does happen again.
Chris and Carrie are expecting baby number 2 in February. In today's edition of Ohio Stories, children's book author Amy Webb writes about her daughter to educate others about limb differences and to illustrate the many ways in which her daughter navigates the world.
Charlie likes to do lots of different things. Sometimes Charlie likes to be loud and wild. He likes to climb and swing and run with his friends. But Charlie also likes to be quiet. He likes to sit and think and draw by himself. This made Charlie feel different. Whenever Charlie felt different, he remembered what his mother taught him. Different isn't weird, sad, bad, or strange. Different is different, and different is okay.
I was pregnant with my little daughter, and we found out that she was going to be disabled. So she has what we call limb differences. I mean, she has a more specific diagnosis, but really anyone who's born with any difference on any limb has a limb difference. I remember someone at church kind of been saying, oh, you know, what a poor thing, we feel so bad for you. And I just remember thinking, they've already counted her out, and she's not even born. My daughter's disabilities are very visible, right? There's some disabilities that are invisible, hers are very visible, she doesn't fly under the radar. Literally, there's been several times where she's gone to a playground and suddenly the kids just surround her and ask questions, and we would have these scenarios. And again, there's no manual for this, how to handle this as a parent. There was no, like, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, and for so long I felt like I was just stumbling through until I finally kind of got this rhythm down of how to handle this. Telling kids is okay if they had questions, but also, like, you have to be nice, and you have to do that. You know, we can't use rude words, and weird is a rude word, and we use, you know, she's different, but she's not weird. And then I sort of ended with, like, there's some things I bet she can do that you guys can't do, and they're always like, what? And you know, I talk about how she writes with her feet or how she eats with her feet, and that. And I would think, you know, parents need to teach their kids. They need to have these conversations with their children. But is it like, you know, how often are you sitting down at dinner and be like, hey, kids, did you know someone can be born without arms? Like, I know parents weren't just, like, naturally sitting down having those conversations. And so I just started writing, and that's when it really turned into this, you know, this way for me to process my feelings and just to process so much information in the world. I've interviewed 240 different families and individuals, and so that just, I really look back and think, like, that was an education for me. As one of the people in this interview series has said, what it looks like to be human in this world, and all the various ways that can look. Seeing a lot of parents not knowing how to handle it, knowing they wanted to do the right thing, but the polite thing in the moment was to shush and turn their child away because they were uncomfortable. You know, not seeing children in wheelchairs in their TV shows, in their, you know, magazines, in their Disney movies, led to this, like, heightened awareness on a micro level. And then I had the idea to write a children's book. I don't know if you've ever had just, like, a knowing kind of settle on you, just like, this is what you're supposed to do. So the main message, too, I wanted to get across
again, is that idea of not pitying us. That different, it isn't weird, sad, bad, or strange. It's just different, and that's okay. There's a spread in here where you see all these different kids represented. So you see, a kid with a walker. You see Emma with her wheelchair. You see a mom doing sign language with her children. These things that aren't often represented. I just think, man, I wish I could just walk in front of her with a billboard of how this is how you should interact with her. This is parents. This is what you can do. And I thought I can't do that. But the book became my billboard. If you can have this representation of this little girl, and she's in a wheelchair sitting on the shelf, with the Cat in the Hat and Hungry Caterpillars, that's just going to expose them at a young age. It just normalizes, for lack of a better word, what is actually a very normal experience, which is disability. People said, was this based on a real experience? I was like, it was based on lots of real experiences. It was we lived that a lot. It's been over a year since the book's been out, and to still get messages or to still have people write about it or talk about it and how it has impacted people who are disabled and what it's meant for them to have their kids sometimes see themselves represented in the book or someone like them represented in the book. To me, I think that has been the bigger emotional impact, is to watch it do what I really strongly felt it would do, but also, you can't prepare yourself to understand that. I always say, that when she was born, it was like I was given a new set of eyes, and I've never seen the world the same way again. And in a very good way. Her disability has taught me a lot about human possibility. It helps me see the variance and the beauty of what it is to be human in this world. I'm Amy Webb, and this is my story.
Another day of wet weather as we start our work week. Let's get a check of your weather in the One forecast. Hey there, and good afternoon, Northeast Ohio. I'm meteorologist Ashley Beatty, and thank you so much for checking in with us for your updated weather on the One forecast. We'll continue to see some spot showers and a few claps of thunder into this evening. Notice how once we get into around 8, 9 o'clock, these storms really start to fizzle out, and much of our overnight time frame is going to be dry. However, I can't rule out a little bit of rain by early tomorrow morning, especially for some areas right along the lakeshore. But after midnight tonight, we should start to see that clearing line move through. Now, in terms of rainfall totals, we're not going to see too many heavy downpours here in northeastern Ohio, but there will be a couple of pockets where we could pick up maybe a half an inch of rain or so coming our way over the next 12 hours. Pretty patchy in terms of those thunderstorm chances, so we're starting to see a little bit more cloud cover building in along the lakeshore. Other spots clouded over more than others, and there are going to be some spots through the remainder of the afternoon where we do see a decent amount of sunshine in between those rounds for some showers. Thunderstorm potential up until around 9, 10 p.m. After that, we really start to see that coverage dwindling. Overnight lows coming down into the 60, 63 tonight, Youngstown, dropping to an overnight low of 65 degrees for Cleveland. Now, as far as our temperatures go over the next few afternoons, we're not going to see a huge change over the next couple of days. So Tuesday into Wednesday, even Thursday, we're keeping our afternoon highs in the 70s, so slightly below average for this point in the year. Now, heads up, if there is one day you will absolutely want to make sure you spend some time outside, it's going to be Wednesday. Cool temperatures, lots of sunshine, and then from there, Thursday looks great. Friday, we're going to start to build in a little bit more heat and also a little bit more humidity. First up, let's go ahead and bring you the updated 2 o'clock numbers on Tropical Storm Isaias. Winds are at 70 miles an hour. Now, this is just below Category 1 hurricane strength, and it's likely to have just enough time to become a hurricane once again before making landfall in the Carolinas later on tonight. From there, we're going to watch this start to curve a little bit more to the northeast. So that means we're not expecting direct impacts to us here in northeastern Ohio, but what it will do is be responsible for that little extra kick of moisture that we're going to see throughout the day on Tuesday and possibly even into very early Wednesday morning. A little bit of moisture coming in off the lake, but then behind that, much drier, cooler, comfortable conditions, at least briefly, come back into our forecast. Then we talk about a weekend where those temperatures do start to warm up. We reintroduce some humidity, and we talk about chances for late-day showers and thunderstorms. That's 7 days coming up in less than 10 minutes. Now your Storm Track Doppler radar. Look at coronavirus cases overseas, the new numbers just reported, and what they could mean for us here at home.
Watch live news on the go from your team at Spectrum News One with the new Spectrum News app. Your all-in-one destination for local news, weather forecast, and events. The new Spectrum News app, your community connection. Learn more at SpectrumNewsApp.com. Download on the App Store or get it on Google Play.
Every Sunday, the ladies of Potomac are back. And they've got company.
Hello?
I'm a professor. Class is always in session. I'm not impressed.
There's group of patients there. I need Dr. Wendy. You're not checking anybody. Okay. I want to know you ladies on a deeper level, but more
The Real Housewives of Potomac, all new, every Sunday night at 9, only on Bravo. And catch up on last season anytime on Bravo On Demand.
Get excited for the plays, for the rush, the cheers, and the tradition. Get ready to put your business inside the action. Everyone is here for the experience. Because wherever your customers are watching, that's the stadium. Advertising live events and coverage as our favorite sports return here. It's Spectrum Reach. We fan together.
Local community where you live. Decision 2020 on Spectrum News One. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Weather in Ohio is changing all the time.
We get winter one day and 60s the next.
At Spectrum News One, our goal is refreshingly simple.
We bring you an accurate, reliable, and local forecast every 10 minutes.
We have an incredible, experienced team of people.
We don't just know about the weather, we know about Ohio.
You never have to wait for your forecast with your Weather on the One.
Weather on the One, every 10 minutes, exclusively on Spectrum.
So this is Eva, and she goes everywhere with me. Like her, I have this innate sense of curiosity. I really like meeting new people. I love to explore, and right now I'm trying to travel to every national park across the country. Every morning, that same curiosity is what drives me as a journalist. News One, I'm Cynthia Constantine. It really fuels the type of stories that we do. It defines us as Ohioans, and it's why I'm so excited to call this place home. We're taking a look at coronavirus cases overseas. India's Ministry of Health is reporting 1.7 million confirmed COVID-19 cases. There were nearly 55,000 new cases reported Sunday. There have been more than 37,000 COVID-19 related deaths in the country so far. Around 1.1 million patients have recovered from the virus after receiving treatment. And cases around the world are reaching another grim milestone. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the number of cases is now more than 18 million. More than 500,000 people have died from COVID-19. The United States has the highest number of confirmed cases with more than 46 million infections. Eli Lilly and Company is moving into a late-phase clinical trial of its antibody treatment for COVID-19. The pharmaceutical giant says it's recruiting 2,400 nursing home residents and staff for the trial, now entering its third phase. That population is the hardest hit by the pandemic. The hope is the therapy will offer protection and possibly ease symptoms for those who are infected. The trial will determine if a single dose reduces the rate of infection over a month. It will also determine if it can reduce COVID-19 complications over 2 months. Coming up, hockey returns. A recap of the Columbus Blue Jackets' first game back after a long pause. And during the break, you can stay up to date with the top
Sonny.
It's cursed. Please keep it secret.
Most about it is being able to tell people stories. I spent a number of years in Cleveland and Cincinnati, and it's given me an opportunity to see every corner of the state. I want to empower our communities and redefine what a news channel can be.
Every morning, the people of Ohio have the opportunity to wake up and start fresh.
We want to be a different kind of news channel, putting storytelling and community first.
Well, it's really humbling to be invited to our neighbors' homes and help them plan their day. Welcome to Your Morning News. I'm Sophia Constantine.
We saw a gorgeous sunrise out there this morning.
Let's begin your day with your weather on the one.
Your Morning News, weekday mornings on Spectrum News 1.
Voting is a lot more than just casting your ballot. That is the most powerful tool you have in our democracy. Every vote does count. It is your chance to make sure that your voice is being heard. Here at Spectrum News 1, you're getting the information that you need. You're hearing from the policymakers so that you can make the decision. The real impact is right there in your local community where you live. Decision 2020 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
We know changes are happening. We know there's more to be done. Now, as our community rebuilds, we'll continue to support each other, caring for neighbors and family today, so we can all be together tomorrow. We know none of this has been easy. Thank you, Ohio. We're proud to tell your stories every day. We're Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Tracking chances for some showers, even a few flaps of thunder across northeast Ohio. That'll be for the remainder of the afternoon and into early this evening as well, before we expect some drier conditions to come in overnight. Now, largely what we are going to be seeing, just garden variety showers, but a few flaps of thunder, a couple of storms that maybe produce some 35, 40 mile an hour wind gusts certainly will be possible, and some brief periods of some heavy rain will be in the mix for us up until around 10, 11 o'clock. Still seeing a little bit of activity on our futurecast, but shortly after midnight, we'll begin to not only dry conditions out in terms of our rain chances, but also see a little bit more clearing, allowing for some pretty pleasant temperatures overnight tonight. So for the evening, still a little bit unsettled. We will see some isolated thunderstorm chances, particularly east of 77, and then overnight tonight, we gradually dry things out and get those overnight temperatures back down into the 60s. So a pretty comfortable start to your day tomorrow. Now overnight, again, that mix of clouds and clear sky, but early on, we will look for some rain chances to start to develop right along the lakeshore. So if you're an early riser on Tuesday, you may get out the door before those showers arrive. But starting around 7, 8 o'clock, certainly can't rule it out. And then from there, we'll watch that line moving a little bit farther south and east and drawing out a little bit more towards the mid to late afternoon time frame. Once we get rid of that round of rain on Tuesday, we actually get a nice dry stretch in here with near 0% chances for rain Wednesday, Thursday, and then into Friday. It's not until the weekend we're going to introduce anything in the way of significant rain chances back into the picture. And that'll be on Sunday with chances for those late day showers and thunderstorms and more heat and humidity making a comeback as well. So it's going to feel like 90 degrees even if we don't quite hit it during the afternoon. Temperatures in the 70s in the water, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots. We get a little bit higher with our thunderstorms. For your 7-day, tomorrow we're falling back into the 70s for our highs. We're going to camp out there for several afternoons. We're back in the low 80s on Friday. Saturday looking good but warmer. Then we're following that up with a chance for late day showers and thunderstorms on Sunday.
Lordstown Motors Corporation is going public. The electric truck maker is combining forces with a company called Diamond Team and will trade on NASDAQ under a new ticker symbol, RIDE. Earlier this summer, Lordstown Motors unveiled its brand new electric pickup truck. Since then, it has secured nearly $1.5 billion worth of pre-orders. The deal is expected to close later this year. High school football teams across the state
Here it is.
Well, he's
The news
frustrated by
about the
decision
coronavirus.
he supports his district.
That's
I
right.
don't think this is
The news about the
by
coronavirus.
an administrative, school administrative issue with this. It's not. The directives are coming from the government.